In the heart of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where the air smells like magnolia blossoms and game day grilling, Holly Kulik never expected her world to change. It was a crisp October evening in 2023, during a lively community fair for Deaf Awareness Week. Holly, a vibrant 28-year-old graphic designer, was volunteering at her parents' booth. She grew up hearing in a deaf household. Her mom, Gina, is a fierce elementary school teacher. And her dad, Paul, is a gentle mechanic whose hands tell stories louder than words. Holly loved her bilingual life, but it came with invisible weights, the constant translating, and the quiet worry that a partner might see her family as different or too much work. Then, he stumbled into her life. Literally. Zach Swain, a 30-year-old history teacher with a lopsided grin, tripped over a display, sending pamphlets flying everywhere. Holly caught his elbow, and in that brief touch, something sparked. "Oh, sorry," Zach stammered, his cheeks flushing. "I'm the guy who ruins history, not makes it." Suppressing a giggle, Holly signed, "You're forgiven if you help stack these," voicing it at the same time. Zach blinked, then tried to copy her sign, but his clumsy attempt looked more like a wonky wave. It was all wrong, but his earnest eyes, wide with curiosity, made her pause. By the end of the hour, they were sharing funnel cake, and he was peppering her with questions about deaf culture. He wasn't just another guy. He was a history buff who actually listened. He didn't flinch when she switched between spoken English and American Sign Language. For the first time, Holly felt seen not as a translator, but simply as herself. Their dates that followed were like a scene from a movie: picnics by the river, late-night drives with Zach practicing signs on the steering wheel while Holly playfully corrected him. "You're getting it, cowboy," she'd say. "But love isn't a fist bump, it's this," guiding his hand into the soft arc of the sign for love. Zach fell hard, drawn to her unfiltered joy and the way she'd belt out country songs off-key just to make him laugh. But as they started talking about a future together, family holidays, bedtime stories for kids, a familiar fear crept in for Holly. Her parents adored Zach. He'd won them over at their first dinner using a phrasebook app to sign compliments that had everyone in stitches. But in quiet moments, Holly confided her deepest worry to him. "What if it's too much?" she asked, her voice trembling. "The signing, the explaining. What if you wake up one day and it's just exhausting?" This was the moment of truth, where trust had to bridge the gap between their two worlds. One rainy April night, curled up on her couch, Holly let her fears pour out. Tears traced silent paths down her cheeks as she voiced and signed her worry. "I love you, Zach. But my family isn't optional. They're my first language. If we can't," she trailed off, her hands trembling. Zach pulled her close, a steady anchor in the storm. He didn't rush to fix it with words. Instead, he cupped her face and looked into her eyes. "Holly, watch me," he said, switching to the halting ASL they'd built together. "I choose you. All of you. Your laughter, your signs, your parents' stories. I'm in scared as hell, but all in." Then, speaking softly like a vow, he added, "Trust me to learn. Trust us to grow into this." Holly searched his face. Past boyfriends had bailed when faced with the culture gap, but in Zach's steady hold, something shifted. She nodded, whispering, "Okay. I trust you," and signed it back. It wasn't blind faith, it was the kind forged in fear, a leap that says, "What if this is home?" Months blurred into wedding planning. Zach proposed on a whim during a hike, dropping to one knee amid wild azaleas. "From tripping over books to this marry me?" he asked. Through happy sobs, Holly said yes. Her parents, beaming on a video call, signed, finally. Their wedding on May 17, 2025, was a perfect blend of their worlds. Set against rolling green hills under twinkling string lights, it was a beautiful tapestry of laughter and love. Zach's boisterous Texas family mingled with Hallie's tight-knit deaf community, with interpreters weaving seamlessly through the crowd. As the sun began to set, it was time for their vows. Holly went first, her voice steady and hands fluttering with emotion. "Zach, you saw me all of me and you stayed. I promise to laugh with you, sign with you, and build this life hand in hand. Then, it was Zach's turn. His heart pounded. Holly knew he'd been practicing something with her brother, but her parents had no idea what was coming. He started speaking his vows, his voice warm and true. Holly, your light pulled me from the sidelines into the story. I vow to chase your joy, to hold you through storms. Then he paused. He took a breath, and his hands rose. Under the fading Alabama sky, he switched to fluent, heartfelt American Sign Language. To learn your language, not just words, but your heart. To make sure Paul and Gina hear every promise. Because family isn't hearing, it's here. He signed the rest of his vows, promises of adventure, fidelity, and forever. The crowd went from a hushed silence to a collective gasp. Hallie's mom, Gina, brought her hands to her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Her dad, Paul, gripped his wife's arm, his eyes shining with a rare vulnerability. Through an interpreter, he later said, his voice choked with emotion, He did this. For us. Holly, trying to hold back her own tears, whispered, told you he'd show up, Mom. After the ceremony, Zach pulled Paul and Gina into a tear-streaked hug, signing, welcome to the family. He even pulled out his ASL certificate from the Dallas Deaf Action Center, where he'd been taking secret classes for months. Proof I passed the test, he said with a goofy grin. The videographer, Riley Roner, knew she had captured magic. She posted a clip of the vows to Instagram and TikTok with the caption, "This isn't just a wedding, it's love that listens." The video exploded overnight. Millions of views poured in, comments flooded the post, crying at work, "This is what commitment looks like," and signed "Love hits different, pure magic." The hashtag Sign for Love trended worldwide, a powerful reminder that true connection isn't loud, it's intentional. Today, Zach and Holly are navigating newlywed life in their Tuscaloosa home, where dinner conversations are a lively mix of spoken words and signed jokes. That leap of faith they took didn't just overcome doubt, it deepened their love. Hallie's fears have turned into gratitude, and Zach's secret became their shared superpower. On quiet evenings, as they dream about their future, Holly often traces his palm and signs, "Thank you for trusting first." Their story proves that when you have the courage to trust through the fear, love doesn't just endure, it echoes forever. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories.